All right, good job.
The release is actually the beginning of the journey.
Hi, my name is Sandrine, and I'm the Stranding and Rehabilitation Manager for Sea Otters at the Monterey Bay Aquarium.
My role is to oversee the rescue, rehabilitation, and release of all otters that are admitted into our program. It's important to take care of these southern sea otters because they are a keystone species and they are critical in keeping nearshore ecosystems such as kelp forests and estuaries in balance. So a typical sea otter response starts with a phone call, typically members of the public who will report an injured or orphaned otter. If it were a pup, very first thing that we would do would be to try to reunite that otter with mom because that is the best chance that that pup has for survival. In the absence of their real mom, then we can go ahead and safely rescue that otter and bring it back to the aquarium for an exam. If they are between the ages of 0 to 8 weeks old, the first thing that we need to do is provide stabilization so that they are a little bit more independent before being introduced to a surrogate. All of these pups are cared for behind the scenes. We want them to be completely wild, to be able to establish themselves in their environment within the kelp without the help of humans, and one of the ways that we do that is by wearing this disguise with the idea of it masking the human form. From 8 weeks to 6 months, they are with a surrogate. They are learning critical skills from that surrogate, how to forage, how to find prey, how to open it, that are really just their natural behaviors that would normally be encouraged by mom just by being able to follow mom along. Pre-release conditioning is a really vital component to the release process and helping a pup that is now a juvenile eventually become more successful when it is time to be released. So this is the time period where we may be introducing them to new otters so that they can practice social cues and interactions. Sea otters are super smart and we have to be smarter than them, which can be pretty difficult sometimes. And that requires the team to be very creative and think outside of the box. For example, a kelp forest situation within their enclosure and putting in sand pools and hiding different live prey items like crab or clams. And they really have to work on problem solving because once they get released into the wild, it's all on them to be able to find food. Now the time has come. The otters have completed the pre-release conditioning phase. This is the moment. All of our hard work of getting them ready for release, everything that the team has put into this, and really all that's left is just to release them. How hard could that be? During the day of the actual release, there's obviously a lot of nerves because every otter is different.
When you guys are ready, go for it. All right, good job.
The release is actually the beginning of the journey. So we will track these otters for a 2-week period. We have to decide whether this otter needs to be recaptured if they're not getting enough calories, which is pretty typical. So it may not be that during the first release they're officially deemed release. It could be the second or third, and usually they get more successful each time. I feel that my role is contributing to ocean conservation, one otter at a time. What inspires me the most about working with sea otters, I think it's how resilient they are. To be able to have a pup that's 1 day old and then gets released between 10 months and a year old, and then that's successful, I mean, I think that's pretty incredible and very rewarding and inspiring.
Thank you for joining me in the day in the life of a Sea Otter Stranding and Rehabilitation Manager.